Okay, so actually start with your feet nice and wide. Sink down into a squat and come up. Let's get the whole body moving. And let's sink it down and reach it up. And we'll go side to side. So this morning we have a little bit of every minute on the minute, different exercises than we did the other day. And then a whole bunch of fun. Let's punch it across, rotate, get that upper body turning, push through your toes, reach with your hands. And breathe. One more each side. And let's do nice low impact jacks. You take your leg up if you want. That's fine. It's up to you. And let's swing those arms, get the blood flowing into all the way down to the fingertips. Maybe a little bit of bounding. Bouncing, bouncing, not bounding. Heart rate's coming up. Good. Take it nice and wide. Big breath in. Reach it up and go for that stretch. And circle it out. 4. And reverse that circle. 2, 4. And focus on that shoulder joint. Get it nice and warmed up. And let's take our arms out. Thumbs forward, little circles forward for about 20. So our first every minute on the minute pair, or only one for today, is single leg squats and overhead presses. Your shoulders nice and warm. And then let's rotate the arm and the shoulder socket. Find as much motion as you can. It's okay if you get a stretch in the back and the chest. That's what we want. We're not just turning our wrists. So there's a time and a place for that. And then let your arms come down slowly. So should anybody else feel it in the sides after all the push-ups that we did the other day? Huh? Maybe it's just me. Yeah. Chest and shoulders too. Yeah. Okay. And let's slow it down. Let's reach forward, round your back, and then open up and reach behind. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach forward, stretch your back, stretch your chest. Last one, forward and back. Rolling out the shoulders, shimmying them one at a time. There's a class I teach in Mammoth where the game is whoever's the last one to get their jacket off wins. That's winter. Here we go. Hands on hips. Let's go side to side. We have a bunch of side lunges coming up in the workout too, so let's get those inner thighs ready to work. Let's take some time here. It doesn't seem like too much time, but see if you can stretch. Also sink a little bit lower into that back hip. So we're trying to get the shoulder, the knee, and the ankle all lined up. And then we do little pulses on one side. And hold it there. Turn your foot up and down, up and down. Whoops, my foot's sliding. And let's take it up and over to the other side. Little pulses on the side. Ease into it, nice and gentle. 8, 9, 10, hold it there. Let's do 3 rotations from the hip, turning the foot up to the ceiling. And come back to center and sink down into that squat. And let's hold it. You can shift side to side if that feels good, or you can pulse up and down. Let's hang out here and see if we can get a little bit deeper. Make sure your body's not doing this, that you're keeping your chest up and your eyes up. Good. You guys are awesome. Big breath in, exhale, see if you can sink those hips down a tiny bit lower. Nice, I see that. I know it's not easy. Hard to stay there. Come down one more time if you can. Now bring your hands to the floor. Let's lift those hips up, stretching out the back of the legs, and sink it down. Do 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands on your knees. Lift up just a little bit, and let's drop the shoulders. And coming back to center, roll it up, roll those shoulders. Let's make this a moving hip opener. Oh, jackets off, here we go. Like gloves off, here we go, ready to work. Let's make our hip circles as we go forward. 4, 5, 6, and then keep that same pattern, but let's go back to the starting point. And then keep our hands down, but kick your legs out, straight leg. 6, and then back, 2. And then pressing your hands down to center. And do like a Charlie Chaplin walk, knees up. And then back. And to keep us extra warm, let's do some grapevines. 2. You know what your space is. And do 5 more seconds. And rest. So hugging your knee up. Make sure those hip flexors are feeling okay. And reach and pull for butt kicks. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Whew, shake those hips out. Grab a drink of water. And we will start moving in to our workout. So we're going to do every minute on the minute again, 4 times, just like we did on Tuesday. The first one, we're doing single leg squats to a chair, 5 on each side. And then you get the rest of the minute to rest. And then we're going to do overhead presses. So we'll need a medium weight. You can really push it with this one. We're doing, how many do I have? 10. So we're going up and over 10 times, and then you get to rest, and we'll repeat 4 times. If you want to use a weight for the single leg squat, you're welcome to. We haven't done them in a while. I'm going to do them unweighted. If you're not sure how it's going to feel, because we haven't done them in a while, what you can do is come up with 2 legs and focus on lowering yourself with 1 leg. So that's still going to build the strength. If you can do it single leg in both directions, we'll go for that. So let's get going. We have our chair, everybody's ready. Let's go in 4, 3, 2, 1. 5 on each side. You can do one side at a time. 2. You get to 5, switch sides. You're on your own. I'm watching you. 2. And we have about 25 seconds left, so take your time. Beautiful. If you want to do more, you can do more. Or you can give yourself a break. Hop your hips outside to side. Get some hula hoops in. We have 10 seconds. Find your weights. We're doing overhead presses. I think just for posture's sake, we are going to stick to alternating. We'll go in 3, 2, 1. We're a little bit off time, but we're going to go for 10 on each side. So count to 20. $18, $19, $20. That uses up more of the minute than the single leg squats does. Carefully put your weights down when you're done. Swing your arms, shake your hips. Do what you need to do to get ready. I think we'll stick with this timing. So we'll go in 5 seconds. Get in position by your bench. We're going into round 2 now. 1, 2, 3. Nice. I like that I can see you both doing this. There we go. 2. We have about 25 seconds left. Take your time. Go for cat-cow. Stretch your back. We still have about 10 seconds. We can find our weights. So if the overhead presses, always the key is to keep your ribs over your hips and not let them flare out. Let's hit it. Looks good. And bring it down. About 20 seconds. Think about if you want to add some weight to your single leg squat. If you can go single, single and not have to double your legs, or if it feels better, double your legs. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Lowering down, making sure you know your bench is behind you is very important. 2. You guys are superstars. 3, 4, 5. Strong legs. Nice work. Good work. So the way to play with this while we're doing every minute on the minute, we only have one more round to go. You could, if you've been having one foot on the floor, challenge yourself next round to keep that foot just off the floor. If you've been doing swimming arms, which I did in the first couple of sets, see if you can keep your arms braced in one position so you're not using your upper body to get momentum. Let's grab our weights for shoulders. And let's hit it. Nice. Oh, wait, it always seems longer to count up to 20. Nice. And 20. And what I'm saying is your bodies are staying nice and stable. So as you're reaching, you're not leaning, twisting, rotating. You're staying nice and steady as your shoulder is doing the work. Nice job. So I think next round, let's do our single leg squats, see what you can do with them. We'll make that last round of overhead presses a power move and call it the grand finale. Okay, last round, single leg squats, down and up. If you find yourself sitting on the bench or the chair for a little bit before you come up, that's okay. It's a lot of work. So we're just squatting to the bench and it's a light tap, a little bit different than this. We're not quite there. I'm not there. Shake those legs out. So we're going to turn that overhead press into a power move. We're going to do both arms at the same time. What it entails, I'll take a few more seconds for explanation. Weights are going to start here. You're going to sink into a squat and then power up through your hips. Your hands should feel like they want to float up with the weights. So instead of lifting your weights, using your shoulder muscles only, we're going to try to get the power of your whole body. So we're going to start with 8. Sink it down, power it up. See if you can feel the weights floating. Big exhale. Squeeze that booty. You're coming up to essentially a plank position standing. No arching. And rest. Nice work. Whew. Shake your arms out, grab a drink. Swing your hips. I am going to move my bench out of the way again. So our first pair of exercises, we're going to be doing side lunges with a leg lift. This is a very fun move. We're going to start with one weight or no weight. And I just show you what it looks like before you decide. A side lunge. You're going to trust that leg to come up to standing, settle it back down, and then step back to center. We're going to stay on one side for 8, and then do 8 on the other side. Okay? So stepping it out, lift, lower, together. Side lunge, lift, lower, together. It's not usually the way we lift our legs. You really have to trust that standing leg. Nice. 5. You can also do this with no weight. If my counting is off, sorry. The key is when you go to the other side, you want everything stacked: shoulders, hips, knees, ankles. So when you come up to standing, you're still stacked. And that's how you get your support. If you're out of alignment, you're gonna start to wobble and feel like you're gonna fall. Whoops, let's do this. Up, forward. Good, let's put the weight down. Okay, so our side lunges are getting paired with something in a very different plane of motion. We're gonna be doing three-legged dog to a knee tuck. And we're gonna go 8 on each side, doing one side at a time. So if this is a down dog, three-legged dog is this. So from three-legged dog to a knee tuck, we're gonna bring your knee right between your hands and then kick it back up. So we're going in and out of a plank with that little crunch from your knee. So let me see your setup and let's get going. 8 on each side. Find your plank, hike it up, take one leg up and tuck it in. 2, 3, 8. When you get to 8, find your plank again. We're going to switch sides. Pick it up. Nice graceful lines. 2, 3, and 8. When you're all done, child's pose. Catch your breath. Circle your wrists. Nice work. I should tell you, we have 3 sets of exercises today. This is one. The curtsies, variation on curtsies with a plank variation next. And then we'll do the single leg wall sit and bear crawls. So circle your wrists. Just take another 20 seconds or so. Catch your breath, have a drink. Get ready to do side lunges again. Decide if you want to use weights or not. It's your workout. It's early. If you're doing this with me live. So we did 8 on each side. Step out, find that alignment. Trust your leg, lift up, and bring it back together. 2. One more on this side. You guys are looking good. Pedal your feet out, shift your hips, whatever you need. Let's go side 2. Out, up, down. The leglet's lifting, stay straight. Good. So much strength. Nice work. Pop your hips out. Like that. Find 30 more seconds before we come down on the floor. Mostly let your heart rate come down before we go into an inverted position so we don't all get dizzy and pass out. So that down dog, the three-legged dog, to knee tuck is stability, it's mobility, it's core strength, it's everything. I don't think you can ask more from a move. Grab a drink. When you're ready, let's find our planks. Circle your wrists if you need to. We're gonna go 8 on each side. So hiking up with one leg up and tuck it in. 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Back to your plank and switch sides. 2, 3. When you're all done, child's pose. Have a little rest. Circle out your wrists, make sure things are feeling good. Stretch whatever needs to be stretched. One more round, and then we move on. Choose your weight or no weight. It's a big deal to be able to trust your legs without any additional resistance. So if you can go deeper, make the move a little bit bigger without weight, that's another option too. So let's go 8 on each side, sink it down, lift it up, down. Yeah, good. You might find by this third round, you got a little bit more mobility. Make that movement a little bit bigger because your hips are all warmed up. Because your brain and your muscles have talked to each other and said, I know this move. We haven't done it in forever, but I trust my legs and we can do it. Sometimes it takes a couple of sets to get there. I think that's 8. And if it's not 8, that's my gift to you. Here we go. Other side, lift up. 2, 3, nice. 4, so something that's helpful for side lunges in general, and you can play with this on your own, is to step next to a wall and come into this. I wouldn't suggest doing it against the shade, but you want your ankle, your knee, your hip, and your shoulder to line up against the wall and step back. Sometimes the side lunge can look more like this. Sometimes the side lunge can look more like that. And if you're in these weird positions where your upper body isn't stacked over this hip and the leg, or your knee and your ankle are out of alignment, or whatever, it's really hard to trust that leg because your weight isn't in good postural stacking over it. That's something to play with if you've been struggling with it. Let's do our last round of three-legged dog to knee tuck. I find it's really helpful to go against the wall because you don't realize your side lunge is cattywampus until you see how unlined up you are. So Three-legged dog, do a knee tuck. Last 8 on each side. Let's reach up high, stretch that leg up, and then tuck it in. Get lazy. Don't get tired on me, or don't get lazy when you get tired. And 8. We're all done. Come down into child's pose. Circle out your wrists. We have a little bit more work on our wrists and elbows coming up next. We're going to take a full minute and a half. The curtsy that we're doing, we're going to do it unweighted. Again, the theme from this month that we're doing in one day was trusting your legs. And so there's balance. So we're going to curtsy, come to a balance, and then try coming into an airplane pose, which I'll show you. Actually, I can show you now. You guys still rest. Circle out your wrists. So it's going to be a curtsy to a knee raise to an airplane balance, and then back up to standing. And we'll do 4 on each side. And the goal is to take your time, find your balance, stretch your toes out, feel your feet grounded into the floor, and make sure you're centered, because we're doing a lot of movement over a single leg. So we can start the first round, no weights. If you want to add them later, I would go light. So I'm going to start non-dominant with my left leg working. Let's curtsy, come up to a knee raise balance, push through your heel as you hinge over into an airplane. Oh, you guys are awesome. And come back to center. 3 more times. 2. Nice. 4. Take your legs out. We'll go to side 2. So curtsy to a knee left to an airplane. Yeah. 2. If you need a finger on something, on a wall, on a piece of furniture, go for it. A lot of this is learning to trust your body. And if you can give it just 1 point of support, sometimes that's all the difference it makes for your brain and your muscles to make those connections. Okay, so we're going to come down on the floor. These have been called a lot of things that don't make any sense to me. I just call them up, up, down, downs, or down, down, up, ups. We start in a plank. You can take your feet wide. You can keep your abs nice and strong. We're going to go down onto your elbows and then up, back onto your wrists. And then we're going to switch sides. So go down with the other elbow and come back up onto your wrist. So we're going to do that a total of 6 times and see how it feels. And then we'll repeat our set again. So down, down, up, up is 1, down, down, up is 2. So you're doing it with each side leading 3 times. And when you're all done, child's pose. Let your shoulders and your arms rest. Good. My heart rate's up. The tricky thing with that one is it's not just moving your elevation with your arms and the arm strength. It's trying to hold that plank and all that stability so you're not rocking all over the place. Trying to move your body. which if you were on the floor and that was the way you got up, I would say more power to you. While we're working stability and core strength, we're going to try to keep it as steady as possible. Okay, let's go for our curtsies to our balance. We're alternating upper and lower body with a lot of core in both. Let's go for it. Let's sink it down. Knee raise. Press through your heel as you come into an airplane. Hinge over that hip. Unhinge it as you come back to standing. The more you engage your hips without overthinking it, because that'll make you fall, the more you engage your hips, the steadier you might feel. And switch sides. Go the other way, sink it down, knee down low, knee up high. Push that leg to straight, and then come back to standing. 2. Nice, very graceful curtsies. Shake out what needs to be shaken out. Check that your ribs are over your hips. We're going to come down into our plank and go for 3 on each side, 3 of each side leading. You can start from your elbows. You can start from your wrists, doesn't matter. You can take your feet wider if it helps you stay stable. And let's hit it. And when you're all done, stretch back into child's pose. Let your hips relax. Let your low back relax. Take some deep breaths here. And then let's work our way back up to standing. We have 1 more round. Grab a drink if you need it. We'll go in about 15, 20 seconds. So coming into that balance, it's amazing. 1 finger on anything makes a world of difference. It's a-okay. We got to get the communication between the brain and the muscles. So if you don't need it, that's awesome. If you do need it, it's still awesome. We're getting there. You got to trust your legs, trust your balance, train your brain to know where it is in space. So let's get going. Sink that knee down low into the curtsy, up high for the knee raise. Great tension through your body as you stretch back into an airplane pose. Good. 2. 3. And 6. Nice. Good job. It's amazing that 1 finger touching a solid surface can make such a big difference. Let's go to side 2. You need to turn around to get that wall. Go for it. Knee up and press back. 2, sink that knee low, bring it up high, press it back. And last one of the day. Whoop, out we go. Take your hips out. Let's circle those wrists. Last round of up, up, down, downs, or down, down, up, ups, depending on how you're doing them. From your knees, from your toes, doesn't matter. You're moving in a plank. So what I care about is you are engaged. Your glutes are engaged, abs are engaged, chest and back are working. So let's hit it. Last 6 of these. 2. Take your time with them. When you're all done, child's pose. There's one last pair of exercises to go through. It's a wall sit and the bear crawl. The bear crawl is a cha-cha. So while we are wall sitting, we'll be doing our wrists, double duty. So if you're ready, let's get up. We'll get going in about 15, 20 seconds. Find a wall. And oh yeah, this round is single leg. So we're gonna go for 15, 20 seconds on each side, but we have to start by getting into that wall sit position to begin with. So if we're here, we take 1 foot up, we're gonna try to hold this for 20 seconds. It helps to glue them together. And while we're here, we're gonna stretch out those wrists. We have 10 more seconds on one leg. And 3, 2, 1, switch sides. Bring it up, sink it down. Let's go for 20 seconds here. Still circling those wrists. Oh my non-dominant side is very, very tired. 10 more seconds. You got this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And come out of it. Shake those hips out, do some butt kicks. I'll come down on the floor. We're gonna do bear crawl cha-chas. 1, 2, 3 forward, 1, 2, 3 back. 3 times, that's it. And then we're gonna wall sit one more time, bear crawl one more time, and come into a final stretch. So this is your last bit of work. And come into our hover. And the cha-cha is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You want opposite arms and legs moving together. Just 3 times forward, 3 times back. And we're done with that. One more round. Whew. We don't have to rush into it. Oh, one more round. Let's go in 15 seconds. Find your wall. 15, 20 seconds on each side. We'll go in 5 seconds. Let's find our wall sit, which should feel pretty easy compared to the single leg. And take one leg up. Okay, cross your legs. You stick one leg out in the air. Circle out those wrists. For 3, 2, 1, switch sides. If you're coming out of it, come back down into it and take one leg up. We'll start now. Think about pushing back into the wall. Almost there, almost there. Stay with it. Strong legs. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And come on up. Okay, last round of bear crawls. 3 forwards, 3 back. Find that hover position with your knees just off the floor. See if you can keep them there without piking all the way up. So 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, and back. When you're all done, hooray, we get to go into child's pose. We are done. Let's hang out here. Let your back rest. Reach your arms straight in front of you. Take your knees nice and wide. Hips are back and down over your heels. Arms are reaching forward. We're going to walk our hands over to the right. Really try to stretch through your left side. And settle into this. And then let's come over. Side 2, left side if you are on the right side. Same thing. Settle into it. Take some deep breaths. Let that right side stretch. And then come back to centers. Come up on hands and knees. Make some big restorative circles. Go 4 times each direction. Four, and then let's add a leg stretch. So let's take left leg out to the side and just rock a little bit. All those side lunges, all that single leg balance works the adductors, your stabilizing muscles. And then sit back and hold. See if you can turn your toes up to the ceiling. We're going to stay here for 5 more seconds. Nice big stretch on the inner thigh. Bring left foot down, rock back up over your knee, and let's switch sides. Those foot's going out. Just do some rocking back towards your heel, back up over your knee. And then let's sink it back and hold. And from the hip, rotate those toes up to the ceiling. And we'll hold here for about 5 more seconds. Bring your toes down, lift your hips up, come back in. We're going to slide into a plank, slide that foot forward, come into pigeon. So your shin doesn't have to be perpendicular to your leg. My heel gets tucked in more towards my groin, and that's okay. We just want a nice hip stretch from all that leg work we did. You can glide side to side wherever you're getting a nice stretch through the hips. That's where I want you to be. If it feels better to be upright, stay upright. If it feels better to stretch out and come down, we're going to hang out here for about 20 more seconds. Find the position that works for you. Nice. And then gently lift up. Curl your toes under, and we're going to switch sides. So for me, I go back to a plank and then slide the other foot under. One side is always a little tighter. Play around with the position, rocking side to side. This is not yogi perfect position. It's how do you get a stretch in your hip position. And settle into it. We'll stay here for about 20 more seconds. Give that hip a nice big release. And then let's roll onto our sides. We're gonna tuck both legs up, grab onto your knees, reach forward, and open like a book. If it feels good to straighten your legs, that's okay. I kind of like feeling tucked. Some people prefer having straight legs, that's okay. Important thing is to try to bring that shoulder down to the floor. And if it doesn't want to go, you reach forward and make it a little bit more dynamic. See if you can get the chest and the back muscles to release so your shoulder can come all the way down. And gently roll onto your back. And let's go to side two. We're going to be tucked up, knees are stacked, hands holding them in position. Reach forward and open up. And then let's come onto our backs. Take your feet wider than your hips. Take your knees down to one side, then to the other. Nice and easy windshield wipers, just checking in with how everything is feeling. And then coming back to center, hug your knees in. You can get your back to flatten out on the floor. Feel free to make circles with your knees. And then hug them in.